Welcome to Inquiry into Self. So suppose, as a hypothetical, that you have a joy set point. That means that you have a certain percentage of the day when things can be enjoyable, you're okay, you're at peace, and you have another percent when there has to be some asserting of fixing things, some asserting that something's not good enough, some asserting that we've got somewhere to get to. And it's amazing how we may even hold in the reserve these things. And I know this doesn't make any sense right away, but just test it. I actually caught myself. There was something that happened that I wasn't so pleased about. And it was like I didn't want to bother with it at the moment, but something in me, this very subtle subconscious thought, well, it wasn't totally subconscious, but this very subtle thought said, we'll worry about that later when we need something to worry about. Interesting. So if you might notice that there are things that sometimes bother you and sometimes don't. And you might think, oh, well, I'm just deliberately not worrying about them all the time. Well, question that. If we didn't have a condition on our happiness, we would have the freedom to be enjoying the process all the time, because there wouldn't be any condition required for our happiness. In other words, we would have permission to see that in this moment things are working out, and in the next moment we'll see how they happen. We would have that permission that doesn't attach to conditions. So if we are open to this, you start to just look and see, okay, I noticed I had this great workshop I went to. I was really happy. And when I came home, I started getting upset with my partner for something that, he did regularly. It tended to annoy me, but for whatever reason, it only annoyed me some of the time. And I realized, I was just too happy coming out of that workshop, and I needed something to kind of balance it out. Now, there was no conscious need for that at all. It was totally unconscious. But once I started with this theory and noticing, I had to admit it fit. So then I started just testing, okay, let's see, can I expand my capacity for joy? Can I detach my joy from circumstances? Can I make my joy not conditional? Can it be from my true being? And then, lo and behold, I found there was a lot more flexibility in what the circumstances could be. So just checking in and noticing, okay, when I'm starting to get upset right now, is it truly I have to be upset, or is there something in me that is kind of, the timer has gone off? I've hit my mark for today. I need to get a little asserting in. And when I noticed that, I just started to see, well, can I allow myself to be uncomfortable right now? Let's see if I don't have to go back into this set point. I can set a new point by just pushing past for a couple more minutes, just pushing past and saying, well, right now, my joy doesn't have to be attached to an external circumstance, an external condition. Can I have a natural joy that goes through circumstances, that can actually go with the process? So that started to stretch me and started to give me the opportunity to see things from a different perspective, And do I have to get to work on time to be happy? Does my car have to be running the way I want it to be happy? Does whatever. You can just go through the list, of all the things that tend to annoy you. Do I need to have so-and-so be respectful to me to be happy? Do I need to have enough money for such and such to be happy? There's actually a freedom to not be controlled by my circumstances. And how do we tap into this joy that isn't from circumstances? Well, when you just stop and go into stillness, first I feel the aliveness that's already in my body. The aliveness that knows where my toe is when I'm not looking at it. And then I look to see, where is this coming from? Where is this aliveness coming from? Where is this beingness, this pure existence, this distilled vitality coming from? And it's coming kind of as a fountain out of this well. A well that just kind of bursts forth out of the empty nothing. And it keeps bursting forth. Now, why does the empty nothing want to even burst forth? There's no reason for completely full nothing to burst forth, except for joy. A completely full nothing. That's what's underneath it all. You can feel that completely full nothing. A stillness that needs nothing, an emptiness that needs nothing. This natural ocean of silence that somehow bursts forth into being out of joy. And is loving all the expression that brings back experiences. Loving, cherishing all the expression. Thank you for being the experience of you to bring back into this vast stillness. And there's a love and there's a joy, there's a cherishing that says thank you for being the experience of you. And thanking ourselves for being the experience of ourselves taps us into the root joy. When we thank ourselves, we can look in the mirror. Thank you for being the expression of me today. In all the joy, in all the trying, in all the failing, apparently. Whether it's fear or anxiety or sadness, in all the courage of being alive. And lo and behold, as we attach less to our thoughts, it turns out to just be more and more joy. But in all the courage, there's a cherishing. And as we feel that, we tap into that root joy that isn't conditional. And what a relief to have joy that is not conditional. And then we aren't tied to our happiness set point percentage. So just check and see, what's your happiness set point, and where are you willing to let your joy not be attached to circumstances? And where are you willing to notice and appreciate and delight in the courage of being this moment? It's so precious. We each right now are so precious.